You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, and drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you, see you, see you.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
And welcome to another episode of the Cocktail Lounge. I am your hostess with the mostest, Aggie, and with me, as always, is the ever suave, affable, and quaffable Brad Slager. How are you doing this evening, Brad?
Doing very well. I've got a pair of cocktails in front of me. I've got hockey on screen. I've got you in my ear. What more could a man possibly need?
A cigar.
I was going to say that, but
You can't.
yeah, I'm going to be busy talking, so I can't, and another thing.
So you have a pair of cocktails?
Yeah, I just, I was in a rush and I didn't have any beer itself, so I just figured I'd go with rum and Coke, and then I did like an orange juice cocktail kind of thing. So what the hell?
So you're having one for me. That is so
I
sweet.
am, because you are in the midst of your deprivation
Lenten fast.
portion of the calendar, so I'm drinking for two tonight.
I'm actually not depriving myself as much as I used to. As a matter of fact, I've had to kind of curtail everything that I give up. I can't do it as much as I used to because normally when I weigh myself at the beginning of Lent, I hover around 127, 128. This time I started at 120. And so I'm like, yeah, I can't afford to lose a lot of weight. So I'm giving up a lot, but that whole, I actually am using olive oil to cook some of my food, So, but
And
yeah,
that sound
no
you
alcohol.
hear right now is Brad not commenting.
I know, and no alcohol, of course, and no desserts. Yeah, I'm sticking to that, and no junk food. I am sticking to those.
So yeah, you're allowing yourself to eat beets and raw asparagus now? Something exotic like that?
I actually grilled the asparagus. Thank you.
Like it makes a difference.
I make a damn fine asparagus, so shut up. Even though I don't particularly care for asparagus, it comes out pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's got those nice little grill marks that probably really stand out when you throw it in the garbage.
You're one of those people. Actually, you're part of my tribe because I really do not care much for asparagus, but I do eat stuff that I normally don't eat because that's pretty much all I can eat.
Yeah, I mean, I just like, vegetables. I'm like, ugh, I make myself eat them. Like, if there's some carrots and something, fine, I'll eat that. Beans, I can eat beans. There's, the whole thing is there's just like no flavor to it. So it's just like,
Yeah,
even when they add
you're
bacon
right.
and stuff like that to it, it's like, yeah, okay. But then when you get that, that flavor kind of runs right off of it, and then you're chewing, horse food, basically. But I still, I try to behave and try to get at least a modicum of it. And surprisingly, like spinach, I can do, like uncooked. Puts like a spinach salad, I can do. So whatever's healthy in that, I'll get that stuff.
I seem to recall when the first time we met at CPAC and we all went to eat. I think it was that Disney area that had all the restaurants and whatever. We went out for that evening, and I remember seeing your plate, and I think there was like one vegetable, and maybe the rest was all beef. I think you left some of the vegetable.
Could be, it's just I'm all about, the protein, like potatoes I can do, bread I'll just devour as well. It's just, grains and protein, that's all I'm about. So, the rest of it is like, seafood I'll go all over. It's just, I eat well. I may not eat like, quote, healthy, unquote, and whatever, paleo and all that other nonsensical crap. Nah. I need either fuel or protein. The rest of it's hit and miss. If something spills on the plate, maybe I'll grab it, whatever. We'll see. I'll get a giant sub, and instead of lettuce, I'll go with, if they have spinach leaves, I'll put spinach leaves on instead. You don't taste either one of them, so what the hell? May as well with the more healthy option, right? So,
All right.
but otherwise, I'm fine. Well, actually, mint, that's a green, right? Doesn't that count?
Mint counts.
That's a vegetable.
Yes.
Okay,
No.
there you go.
It's an herbal.
It's a green leafy plant. It's the same shit, right? Come on. It's got to be
It's an
healthy.
herbal. I don't believe spinach is a vegetable either. Leaves don't count as vegetables. They count as herbals. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not nutritious or good for you. I'm just saying it's called something different.
Great, I'm doing something. The one thing I do that's healthy isn't. Whatever. Jesus.
No, it is. It is. I'm telling you, it is. Mint has a lot of medicinal qualities. It's very good for you. It's just not a vegetable.
All right. Well,
It's an herbal.
well, anyway, I'm in a very good mood because, not to piss off Mike, but just a little side benefit. But Florida Panthers are marching again. They're up 2-0. If they win this game, they're going to pass Boston for the best record in the league. They're just smoking right now.
Wow.
And amazingly enough, Thursday night they go to Carolina. If they win that, they will tie the all-time NHL record for most consecutive road victories. They're just on a smoking lava tear right now. It's amazing. They've gone 10 games in a row giving up 2 goals or fewer. That's just ridiculous right there. And they're just too much fun to watch right now. I'm just like having too much fun. And the thing I love about this team is they score goals and they shit hammer everybody at the same time. They played Tampa Saturday night, and this was supposed to be the big square off. Oh, interstate, and both teams are hot as hell. Tampa got a goal in like 25 seconds, and everybody's like, oh my God, they're going to kill the Panthers.
And they did not.
Florida managed to go on a 9-goal streak.
Oh my word! What?
Yeah, and in the midst of this, it's like in the midway through the second period, I think they were up 6-2, and they were hitting everybody. It wasn't like they're just taking it easy and skating and just having. No, they were out there just slamming guys, still forechecking. I mean everything. And this is the team, though. I mean they can score, they can play tough. If there's a fight, there's like, yeah, we'll do it. Let's go, man. And it's just too much fun to watch. It's like I am not used to this. That's why Brad is so giddy right now. We went to the Stanley Cup final last year. We might have a better team right now. That's amazing. For the decades I've endured mediocrity down here, I'm savoring this. I'll just say that much.
I'm sure it's fantastic for you. I think it's not as fantastic for Mike, but hey,
I mean, Boston's
we can
still
all
good.
agree.
Don't give me that.
We can all agree, regardless, that we just want Ottawa to lose. Regardless,
no, it's just a fun time right now. I mean, Boston's still one of the top 5 teams. I think right now it's probably Vancouver, Florida. I'll say Boston. Boston and Edmonton are probably neck and neck right there.
Oh, my old team.
But they're it's just things are just going very well right here, and it's just weird to watch. So I'm
don't jinx it.
No, it's a matter of jinx. Like I got that kind of power, please.
I am not wearing colors. That's all I'm saying.
Well, what about you? You enjoying any other sports at the moment? They tried to do the Daytona 500 this weekend, and that went to pot. but quick.
I know it was postponed, but they managed to postpone it just one day, right? I mean, it did. They did.
Well, yeah, they
manage to do
technically
the
ran
500.
it last night, and then they had, of course, the big wreck, and instead of delaying the finish, sometimes they'll do that and they'll run an extra 2 laps because it generally takes about 1 full lap around the track for them to get up to speed when they're on the restrictor plates. And they just said, yeah, you know what? We'll just stop it right here. That's good. We're fine.
So it wasn't even completed.
Well, no, technically it was. Like they went 500 miles, but in a case, like if they have a wreck on the last lap and before they hit the finish line, they throw the yellow flag. And, last few seasons, what they've done is just that, they'll line the team, clean the track, everybody line up one last time, and, they'll go 2 extra laps technically. So it'll be, a 505-mile race. But this time they just said, yeah, we want to go home. It's like, dude, really?
That's pretty funny. I guess, it's spring, so I'm looking forward to just enjoying baseball, really. All the local high schools are now revving up for baseball, and it's kind of cool to, go to those little games and kind of cheer on the local high school and everything. But, the Division I rankings just came out, and I am very proud to say that 4 Texas schools are in the top 25, including my alma mater. So I was very happy to see that.
Yeah, the Canes aren't.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, you can't all be winners.
No, I know.
in every game, in every sport.
Miami used to be a good, a perennial powerhouse, as they like to say, in baseball, but not of late. So there's,
there was a time that A&M really was too, and UT is in the top 20. I believe they're 12 or 14 or something like that. Texas Tech is 18 or something like that. Texas A&M is 8, and TCU is 5, I believe. So we're slowly but surely gaining traction back in baseball. Baseball was when I was in college back in the mid to late 80s, we had a really good team. And believe it or not, our field, Olsen Field, was literally just a dirt field, and it had like a few bleachers and everything. Now it's this showcase area, right? But when I was
a legit
attending,
stadium now, huh?
yeah, we do. We actually have a miniature ballpark. It looks like to me, like the one in Arlington, just in a smaller scale. I actually have a friend that played for Texas A&M when I was at school, and he ended up playing for the Yankees. And to this day, my brother doesn't believe me, even though I got him a Yankees baseball cap signed by my friend. He's like, I still don't believe it.
No, really?
Yeah, and of course, everybody knows that Roger Clemens came out of UT, and so we have had very solid baseball seasons here in Texas for quite a few decades. But everything fluctuates, ebb and flow. So hopefully we're starting to do our great comebacks in that sport. I'm looking forward to watching. I'm hoping to actually go down for a couple of games to Texas A&M. So I'm making plans for that. It'll be kind of fun.
Cool.
I'll get you a jersey.
But why?
Because I can.
Well, I'll appreciate it.
Well, if I can get my hands on, I'm going to try and see if I can call Chuck and see if I can get him to sign one of his old jerseys. That would be so cool because he kept all of his stuff. So that'd be neat. Anyway, moving along. So that's what I'm looking forward to sports wise. I'm not, I just like watching the game. I really don't know the rules. I don't follow the stats or anything like that. But I love being there. I love being at a baseball game. To me, it's just like, because when I was growing up, baseball was big in Puerto Rico. I mean, Roberto Clemente, okay? We still revere the guy.
Sure.
Nobody measures up to this guy, okay? To this day. Not even his kid. So, growing up, for us, baseball was a big deal. When we came to the States, and I found out that it was considered America's pastime. And that made it even bigger for me. So I've always had this, just like a draw to baseball, but just to enjoy the game. I don't need to parse it. I don't need the stats. I don't need the rules. I don't need any of that. I just want to enjoy being out there, and then, watching people play this game. It's just, to me, it's Americana. It really is. And I understand that the Japanese have taken it over. They're much better at it over there in Japan. I get it. But it's still that. That's what.
Yeah,
it's
but they're
still
still considered, I think, a lower level. Like when their players come over here, it's when they're in their prime. When our players go over there, it's at the end of their careers, and they're still padding things out. Getting it. They're basically played out of the majors, but they're getting a couple extra seasons in over in Japan.
That's why I love Mr. Baseball. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It was it was a little bit of a weak movie, but had one of my favorite lines as far as baseball goes regarding the ridiculousness of the stats. When he was foundering in the majors, and they were like, they go up to Tom Selleck and tell him, we're gonna bench and replace you with the kid and put the rookie in. He's like, you can't do that. I was tied for third place with late inning triples among right-handed third basemen in the month of August.
Yes.
It's like, and the manager just gives him a look like, really? It was like, it's so true, because that's what baseball, it's all about the metrics now. It's all the insider stuff. I used to love baseball. It was my number one sport. Probably, high schoolish, and that's when it was like baseball and hockey, because the seasons were complementing each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then they had the one strike, and the one year they canceled the season entirely, and I was like, you fuckers lost me. That's it. I'm done. It wasn't even, me taking a stand. It was an emotional thing. It felt like a divorce. It's like, you guys just killed it for me.
I had people in Puerto Rico seriously, it was funereal. It was like they were witnessing a funeral. And I was like, I'm still at that. It's a game. Okay. These people are a little nuts for going on strike and blah, blah, blah. But, I'm sure that once everything's straightened, I'm sure you guys are going to come running back. And they did, And I'll be honest,
well,
I haven't
took a couple
watched
seasons, actually, because and that's the only thing I was really watching with baseball at the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the season they came back. I was watching the attendance figures, and they were off by like 40% or so across the board.
Oh, they were, and I have not watched professional baseball in a very long time, mostly due to things of that nature. But college baseball, I will watch. I enjoy college baseball. It's really funny. I love college football. I like college baseball. Cannot stand college basketball. And I think it's because of March Madness. That really soured me on the whole concept of college baseball. So I don't like college baseball at all. But all other college sports, yeah, I'm big fan. Big fan of all of those. But not basketball. No.
Yeah, I can't. Basketball, I can't do. Once you play hockey, basketball is just absolutely ridiculous.
But, where I come from, it's the 3 Bs. So it's boxing, baseball, and basketball. Those are the three main games that main sports that Puerto Ricans really gravitate towards. So, but that concept of the March Madness in Puerto Rico just doesn't make sense to anybody. So it never made sense, which is why I just don't like it. So I'll watch pro, but I won't watch college. It's the only pro sport that I will actually go out of my way for most of the time. And then they went on strike, and then I got pissed. And I just, whatever. I don't want to get mad right now. I'm waiting later to get mad. I'll get mad later on in the show.
I mean, like back in the day, I used to have like about a dozen different minor league baseball hats, and I would wear a different one to work every day. And that was, I had a subscription to the National. That was the newspaper at the time.
I need to get you a flying chunkless one.
Ooh, yes.
I do.
I told you the guy at our tavern, one of the guys in the kitchen has one.
Yes.
Cracks me up. This guy, I've like seen him for 6 months, never said a word to anybody. He comes walking by with that one day, and I just put my hand out. I was like, dude, don't tell me that. Is that it? He's like, oh, yeah. I was just cracking up. And he's like, trying to explain it to me. He's like, oh, there's this minor league team over. It's like, dude, no, I get it. I know exactly what this is. I'm cracking up that you got it. This is stupid. This is amazing.
I have a shirt, and my brother stole my cap, so I have to replace it as well. So,
and actually, there's another kid working there. He had on this light blue baseball hat, and I'm looking at the logo, and it was just like round face on it. And I was like, "Is that? There's no way." He comes walking by. I was like, "Dude, over here, come here." Like, yeah, you got a Citronauts. That used to be the mascot for the University of Central Florida. They're the Golden Knights now.
Well,
back
did they
in the
change?
70s, when the college started, it used to be like a feeder. It still is to a degree, but it's like their concentration at the time was for NASA space program. That's like basically where they trained their technicians to go up to the Space Coast. So, and that was just their mascot. They were the citrus astronauts, the Citronauts.
That's beautiful.
And
shame it went away.
Well, no, it just became. It's one of that college is so freaking massive. I mean, massive.
Well, if I recall correctly, the college was the last. That was the last university that ran the radio telescope in Arecibo.
Believe it.
They were the ones that were running it before it, decayed and fell apart.
Yeah, they're still tied heavily to NASA, but it is growing so much now. They say UCF stands for Under Construction Forever. And my daughter went there for a couple of years, and it's a lie. I mean, you'd go on there, and there's always some new building being erected. Nobody ever knows what it is. It's like, could be drama, could be math. We don't know. But the real funny thing was she showed me around campus and such, and it's like, wait a second, I know that building. And she's like, what? That was the campus where they filmed the immortal, horrible film, Miami Connection.
Oh, yes. That lives in infamy. And you went through and actually, I remember you taking pictures.
Yes, I was making karate poses there in the comments while she's snapping pictures and rolling her eyes. She's like, so Dad, epic. We're not doing this. She's like, yes, we are. Oh, yeah. She's like, oh my God, if anybody I know is walking by, I'm dropping the camera and running.
It was so funny.
But, yeah, that's, it's kind of where we're at right now. It's just basically basketball. Oh, my God. Hip check from heaven.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Guy at Center Ice just went ass over teacups.
Well, okay.
Senators. But, hey, you're going through Lent right now. Speaking of Catholicism.
No. We're still on the sports thing. Don't.
Oh.
I cannot afford to start screaming right now.
I was going to say, because this is going to be Brad's bathroom break. I'm going to set Aggie up and go, and then I'll be back in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to take me that long.
Kind of like when the DJs would play Freebird.
Yes.
Gonna spin this hit for you guys now while I go downstairs and buy a pizza.
No, I'm so upset. But no, that's not the only sports stuff that you had listed. I believe we have a brand new scholarship program for a brand new sport.
Oh, God. I want to preface this just to give you a little bit of a window into my life. People aren't aware I'm married to a teacher, public school system. She's also a union rep. You can understand the divergent politics that exist under my roof.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, one of the things that happens frequently, and this is a very common conversation, basically I can't take her out to go watch college football. Because at some point in time, they're going, damn it, the baby raper's got a goal. She'll be watching TV and they'll interview a player who cannot formulate a sentence with his mouth, let alone diagram one. You know, it's like, no, got football, go down field, go score, but say, you know, that. And as soon as that happens, I rub my forehead and I look over at her and she's turning red and grinding her teeth and she has to go off on a 5-minute tangent about how these guys are getting a free education and they can't read a book and there's other kids more deserving and and all of this goes on. Yes, dear, I understand completely. Yes, dear. Okay, no, you're 100% right. Absolutely. Because I tried for a time to explain it. The amount of millions that pour into the school from football allows the school to give away scholarships to these deserving kids. Now these sons of bitches and they don't approve. And then the whole NIV thing now where these guys don't have to go to class and can drive a Bentley and, sell pictures of their bare ass on a calendar and score $10,000 a day on Instagram and all this crap. And just, she don't even bring up the topic anymore. I try to go to the bar by myself on those games if I can. I say all of this because I have yet to inform her of this little nugget of news that came across my transom, courtesy of NPR News. Steve Inskeep on Morning Edition had this little entry that cracked me up. I'm thinking about maybe like dropping this nugget on her right when I'm stepping out the door to go to the store or something like that. Oh, hey, by the way, did you hear? Bye, I got to go see you. Come back and the furniture will be torn up like the dog just got rabies or something.
Or the cat.
So Steve Inskeep explains, and I love this, where you could tell his audience is completely oblivious to this tailgating game. Try to imagine, if you don't know Steve Inskeep, this is a typical officious sounding NPR radio personality. Cornhole is the game where you toss a bag at a board and try to drop it in the hole. Thank you, Steve Inskeep, for rendering the game to its most bare essence for your audience. Yes. People at sporting events, many of them still with their teeth, grab bags filled with corn kernels and hurl them at an elevated board approximately 15 feet away from them, with the effort of placing said bag in the circumference that has been bored into the surface of the plywood playing area. Scoring is a rather arcane adventure, where if the bag remains on the board, a point is awarded. However, dropping in the hole will grant the player 3 times that amount. This is basically why I don't listen to NPR, because I do want to punch baby pandas in the neck listening to these assholes. People who do not know how to read but still have a rotator cuff that's operational play this at sporting events while drinking watered down beer from local distilleries. So the whole reason for this is he uses this introduction to say, "Good morning, I'm Steve Inskeep. For the first time, 2 students received college athletic scholarships for cornhole."
Just can't.
A couple of Colorado high schoolers have won a pair of national championships and the American Cornhole League, you see. And then this fall are going to South Carolina to play in Division I cornhole for the Winthrop University School.
Division 1, which implies there's 2, 3, 4, and 5 of this stuff too. I mean, I can't.
Yeah.
And it's also, if I recall, it's also being considered to be an Olympic sport now. They might actually add it. So
stop it. They actually play this sport in other countries. Give me a break.
It is the most ridiculous thing. I've given up on the Olympics. I've completely given up on the Olympics.
Well, I mean, the Winter Games. I'll watch the Winter Games. Love the Winter Games. Mainly because of hockey, but also because of they also play slide hockey.
Huh? What?
You know, where they throw rocks down the ice and then sweep them.
Oh, curling. But also
shuffleboard on ice.
I'm a fan of the biathlon, actually. It's very zen for me to watch the biathlon.
Really?
But of course, it doesn't get a lot of airtime until you get to the, the range to like shoot.
Yeah, I mean, technically you're right. There is kind of a reason for it because that's the most boring winter sport going.
That's why it's so zen. I like ice dancing too. Not to be confused with figure skating or pairs. Ice dancing, totally different.
Okay, those sports don't exist. Those are made up. You're lying. Those are not real.
Kiss my ass. Those are real. They exist. Anyway.
See, I like the Winter Games because so many of them have something that most of the summer games do not, and that is
ice.
Inherent built-in danger.
Yes, this is true.
There's so many of the sports in the wintertime that can lead to catastrophic death, like jumping off of a 60-foot mountain in the sky.
The luge, the bobsled.
Yes. Sliding down an ice track at 80 miles an hour on a sled that's like the size of a dinner tray at Arby's.
Yeah, that is. What do you call it? Remember the Wide World of Sports when it was the opening,
Oh yeah, I mean
the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat.
They had that one asshole that would fall off the mountain every single. They ran that I think for 20 or 25 years. That guy.
Yes, I think
coming down this ski jump, and then he loses his ass before the end of it, and boom, boom, and the helmet goes flying, and he's cartwheeling ass over teacups down the mountain. Yeah, it's like I hope they pay that guy some residuals for that. It's like, okay, I'm 45 and selling insurance, and people are still making fun of me because of you people. Come on.
Yeah, wow.
But I mean, they're like downhill skiing. These people are doing like $180 down a frozen mountain, and I got to tell you, one of the ones I love are these. It's the snowboarding race where they have that tight track, and there's 4 of them out there at a time.
I remember the big controversy when snowboarding was added as an Olympic sport. And I was like, this is rigorous. This is dangerous. Yeah, I would definitely classify this as a sport. And my sisters were like, no, it should be on skis and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm looking at them going, we don't even do winter sports. None of us have ever been skiing. We've never been anywhere near ice or snow at this point in our lives, right? And they're all criticizing it like they're like, very knowledgeable on the subject. And I'm like, I'm like, have you ever seen snowboarding? Have you ever looked at? And they're like, no, it's just like, being on a skateboard. I said, have you been on a skateboard? Well, no. I said, okay, I think we're done here.
And the cool thing is they've got, I don't know, like 3 or 4 different snowboard competitions.
Yeah. They've
Like they've
expanded
got
a lot.
like a giant slalom. They've got the tube where you do the tricks. They got the one where you go downhill and jump, and then you do pipes and other flips and stuff in the course of it. Then they got the 4-man race, and it's just like ton of fun. Can't help watch it. Speed skating, love that. Mainly because my people dominate.
Yes, the Dutch tend to.
And then the Dutch also throw the biggest parties in the Olympic Village because after they win the speed skating, they have a concert and just like 5,000 people show up at their hotel and they're just out there partying the night away. And, and it's just.
And the IOC gets upset and blah, blah, blah. And they hand out fines, which never get paid because the Dutch are like, we won. We're not paying this. And they just leave.
You're going to take my medal because I'm having a party? Guess what? Worth it.
Nope, no Puerto Rican bobsled team. That's in Jamaica.
Yes,
anyway.
Does Puerto Rico even field anybody on the Winter Games?
Actually, we've had a few that have competed and have actually placed rather well in, I believe, some kind of skiing sport. I want to say cross-country skiing was one, and maybe slalom. I'm not sure. I know cross-country skiing was definitely one of them.
Yeah, but see, this is a bunch of bullcrap because Puerto Ricans are Americans. And you're supposed to do it for the U.S. of A. And then you people got your own country somehow and you're separate, yet you still call yourselves American.
Yeah, it's. I don't quite understand how it is that they can compete under the Puerto Rican flag when they come over here to train and are American citizens, But, according to the IOC rules, they are considered a nation, not a nation state, but a nation. So they can.
I don't even care. I think it's cool as hell, though. You get a chance to go to the Olympics. How many people here, they have dual citizenship? Couldn't cut it on the U.S. squad, so it's like, Mom was born in Norway, so I'm one of you now. Do that all the time.
Well, there was, for a long time, there was a big brouhaha over the riflery, the rifle in the Summer Olympics, because France had a team, but they had to leave the country to practice because you're not allowed to have these weapons in France, but they have a team.
Yes.
And I'm like, you can't have it both ways, France. Either you allow people to own these firearms or you do not have a team because these people cannot have firearms. As a matter of fact, these French citizens had to train in Switzerland. And they still went to the Olympics. I think their team got 6th place or 7th place, but it made big news when people found out that they were training in Switzerland because they couldn't train in France. It was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard.
Yeah, and you watch any of the Olympics, half the time you're seeing, they'll put somebody's name up there from another country, and then down below it was like, goes to the University of Colorado. Go Liechtenstein.
Hey, I've been there. So anyway.
Basically, we're training champions for other countries.
Yes,
so technically, those are our medals. So, yeah.
We'll claim them. So.
I enjoyed Winter Olympics. Correct me. Summer games, I'm just like, I like handball. That's a kind of a fun one. It's basically hockey on a gym floor, but still. They score about 37 goals a game between the teams, and looks really ridiculous, but there's a ton of contact too. It's basically basketball done right.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, it's like lacrosse and basketball combined. Where basketball, they can go pound sand and piss up a rope. Can't stand that game. Oh my gosh, touch me, foul. Shut up. Go play a man's game.
I'm still the traveling thing still confuses me when I'm watching it on pro basketball. So I don't know. Anyway,
well, it's
moving
a rule.
On.
They just don't call it.
Yeah, exactly. They have stopped calling it.
It's even worse in the women's game because we were out at a bar one night and they were, I think it was the WNBA All-Star game, and everybody was like, "Really?" And they're like, "What? You don't want to watch?" It's like, "No, do you not have a remote? Can't we put some?" And then they were getting all excited because, oh, this player, she's gonna go dunk, she dunk, and they played the replay like 7 times, and she catches the ball and takes 4 steps in order to just barely touch the rim while it goes in. Yes, I'm excited. I am just so excited to watch this game. Where's the remote? So there was that. Well, speaking of women's college basketball, I understand there's something going on in the Catholic Church.
Hell of a segue. I'm trying to connect the two, but okay. Yeah, there was evil.
I understand there was a funeral that took place in New York City, was it?
I'm going to use layman's terms here. Yes, a funeral was held in St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York, which is probably one of the biggest and best known Catholic cathedrals in the United States, for a transgendered man who went by the name of Cecilia Gentili. Born a man, transgendered to female. And apparently this person was an atheist. And the family decided not to inform the church of the fact that this person was not in the parish, not on the rolls, not a Catholic, happened to be an atheist. They wanted to make a statement. And the reason that they gave out to the people when this happened was that they felt Cecilia was an icon and she needed to have a funeral in a place that was as iconic as she was. Keep in mind, most people outside of New York City had never heard of this person. I'll wager most people outside of the village had never heard of this person. I mean, I hadn't, and some of my tranny friends never heard of this person either. But, a lot of people were very offended, and rightfully so, because there are certain rules that you observe in the Catholic Church. There are certain rights that are conferred in the Catholic Church that can only be conferred to Catholics. A funeral is one of them. And for the church not to do its due diligence, and all they had to look up was the person's name, either the birth name or the name they go by, look it up to see if they're in the parish rolls. That's it. If that person is not in that parish, guess what? They don't get their funeral at that church. That's the rule. That's one of the reasons whenever we moved, I became a member of the new parish, because if anything happened to me, at least my family would know that they could have the funeral at that church. I was a member of that church. I was a member of the parish. And that also helps if you pass away in the diocese, but don't happen to be at that particular church that you're a member of, but your hometown church can still recognize you because you're still a member of that particular diocese. And it works that way. You have to be a member. This person wasn't a member. So a lot of people are asking, how was it that Cardinal Dolan actually allowed this to take place? How did this happen? Because I know people that have been turned away from a church because they're not members of that church. They can't have the funeral there. As a matter of fact, I was telling you, my family has a very good friend. When her husband died, he happened to not be Catholic. She was. And they were both members of, they were in the parish rolls for the basilica back home. But the church explained to her, he's not of the Catholic faith. We cannot officiate a funeral in the church for him. But the priest could officiate it outside of the church. So they chose another venue for the funeral. And everybody is still aghast that this happened. I mean, there were people that were dressed in the most scandalous clothing imaginable, which is something you just don't do in a church, regardless of what's going on. When you go into any church, you dress in a manner befitting the occasion most of the time. I understand that there are cowboy churches, but that's because they were out in the country, out in a ranch. You didn't have dressy clothes. That's how cowboy churches were formed. They traveled with the traveling cowboys, and so for them to come in dressed in very lewd clothing, praising this person as the mother of all whores, calling her Saint Cecilia, they actually changed. They started singing the Ave Maria. They changed it to Ave Cecilia. It was a complete mockery. It was just vile. And, people were saying, well, they just wanted to honor her. Her friends wanted her to be honored and all that stuff. The family actually released a statement. And they said, quote, "We brought precious life and radical joy to the cathedral in historic defiance of the church's hypocrisy and anti-trans hatred. Cecilia Gentili's funeral service with filled the pews in ways the cathedral only can during Easter service," which is not what the priest said. And NYPD Funerals was a reflection of the love she had for her community and a testament to the impact of her tireless advocacy. We bestow sainthood upon Cecilia for her life's work, for how she ministered, mothered, and loved all people regardless of HIV, immigration, or employment status. And it just goes on and on. So this was planned as an attack on the church. And I'm actually not upset with these people. I'm upset with the church because they should have done better.
How on earth did they allow any of this, let alone all of it?
That's, and that's like the biggest question. Cardinal Dolan was actually asked, how does this happen? And he actually praised the priest that presided at the funeral as being, a hero, because he decided to stop officiating it and leave. And they told him he didn't leave. Well, he just stopped officiating. And then Cardinal Dolan just walked away. And that was it. That was it he was not going to answer any other questions. Now, this is consecrated ground for people of my faith. And when consecrated ground is violated, we have two options. And one of them is a mass of reparation, and the other one is an exorcism. I'm at the point where an exorcism is actually what you need here because of how disgusting and vile the people. I mean, I tried watching the video 3 times before I finally just swallowed my bile and finished watching it all the way through. It was that bad. And I'm not one that shies away from controversy when it comes to things in the church, because I know that we have our issues in the church. I have pointed them out routinely, and I have actually fought on the side of people against the church, because sometimes the church is wrong. What they do, and let's face it, they've made movies out of the scandals that have happened in the Catholic Church. But you'll notice, as I have told you before, those movies are always on the scandals that happen in the U.S., never outside of the U.S. It's like everybody thinks, oh no, the scandals only happen in the U.S. Yeah, that's not true. And this is a really big problem, because, like I don't know if y'all recall, but I had mentioned a specific letter that the current Pope Francis, has written. It's called the Fiducia Supplicans, and it's the letter that he wrote saying that we, as people of the parish, the priests, the cardinals, the bishops, the monsignors, all of those people have a calling to actually bless same-sex marriages. He came real short of saying that, but when you read all of it, he's actually saying that the church should sanctify it. And he opens the door by saying, people in the trans community, people in the LGBTQ pi, as you call it, community, they should be blessed. They should be given a blessing and all that stuff. Now, the church has always done that. The church will bless any parishioner that asks for a blessing. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to be a parishioner to receive a blessing from a priest. All you have to do is ask, and they will do so. Because to give a blessing is a part of healing, for the person that's being blessed. So that's never been an issue. So why this was written was the bigger question. And when you read the Fiducia Supplicans, you start understanding that this is a huge door they have just opened to consecrate the LGBTQ movement into the Catholic Church. And
okay, but I'll just have to say this much, because when I sent you the video, I saw this. Initially, I was deeply offended by it. I'm not Catholic in any stretch. And I'm watching this going, what the hell? Holy crap. And, I sent the link over to your way, just knowing it was going to turn you blue.
My head, it turned me red, actually.
I just don't understand. I mean, the very fact that whoever passed away was an atheist.
That's the bigger problem.
Regardless of anything else, how do you have this ceremony in a church when that's the case? One, why would they want that? I mean, isn't that a desecration of this person that passed away?
A true atheist wouldn't even care about a funeral. They really would not want it in a church, because they do not recognize that.
That's a sign of the activism at play.
And that is exactly what it was. The fact that they lied to the officiants is another big red flag. But what bothered me the most was that there was no due diligence to find out whether or not this person was actually a member or even Catholic. Nothing. They just took somebody's word. This is one of the biggest dioceses in the U.S. And for them to actually just say, yeah, okay, so you're Catholic? Okay, yeah, we'll do it. No, there had to be something else at play, which is why Dolan is keeping quiet. Now, I mentioned massive reparations or an exorcism. According to Dolan, there was a quiet massive reparation performed at the church, but they kept it private so that the activists wouldn't know about it. That's not the way it works. A mass of reparation is never private. You actually have to have most, if not all of your parishioners attend. And it must be done with the knowledge of all parishioners, everyone. So I'm pretty sure that's a big ass fucking lie. I don't think there was a massive reparation done at all. which is why there is a petition now circulating for St. Patrick's to perform an exorcism of the church. I know that everybody's watched The Exorcist and y'all think, oh, it's, we need to remove demonic possession, blah, blah, blah. An exorcism is actually a cleansing process. It's not necessarily for demonic possession. What you're doing is actually reconsecrating the church via removing the foul spiritual stench that is now present due to the fact that they desecrated the entire church with what they did.
Yeah, basically, you have to do a theistic serve pro. And go
pretty much, yeah. This is a serve pro for churches, yes.
I just don't understand how there's not this just wave of Catholic outrage calling for the heads of these people in the church that allowed this to happen. Because none of this would have transpired without a level of approval from those in charge. No.
And that is why everybody is looking to Cardinal Dolan and asking him why he didn't stop it. Now, there was, and this is what gets me. Father James Martin was actually invited to the event. He was out of town, and he could have warned the cathedral, but he didn't. That is another piece of this puzzle. That he did not warn the cathedral is a really big red flag. This was all done on purpose, and it goes back to the supplicans, the Fiducia Supplicans letter from Pope Francis. When that letter was put out, and people read it, and I don't know if you guys follow Ranty Amy Curtis on Twitter, but she is the Twitchy religion editor, and she writes about Catholicism for Twitchy, usually under VIP though. And she's been following this very closely. And it has, somebody asked, we look to our priests, our bishops, our cardinals. They are our shepherds. And what they're doing now, the shepherds aren't tending the sheep. They're feeding the sheep to the wolves. Yes. That's what's happening here. And I'm like, this is why we've had such an issue with Pope Francis. This is why this whole Benedict and Francis thing was so hinky. Okay. And it has bothered a lot of us because a lot of stuff is still under wraps. We are not allowed to read a lot of the letters, a lot of nothing. And some of the priests that actually raised red flags about Pope Francis, guess what happened to them? They were either excommunicated, defrocked, or sent to places on this planet that you've never even seen. Yes, and never to be heard from again. Okay? So, that's a big problem, and a lot of people turn to me, it's like, how can you deal with this as a Catholic? And I was like, I fight it the best way I know how, through my parish. Our parish here, which is Tyler, is very conservative. And they have been fighting nonstop against Pope Francis, like you would not believe. As soon as that letter came out, the Bishop Tyler sent a letter out to the entire parish, to the entire diocese, telling everybody, yeah, no, we're not doing that. We're not deviating from Catholic teaching. We're not deviating from,
that's good.
Vatican II. We're not deviating from any of that. Now, like I said, if someone asks a priest for a blessing, the priest will give the blessing. There is nothing to stop a priest from blessing a person. Absolutely nothing. Which is why everybody questioned why this letter specifically stating that we should start blessing people who are homosexual, who are in the LGBTQIA+ community, who are in same-sex marriages. Why do they have to say that? If the priest has the power to bless every single human being on this planet, Why does it have to go? Why do they have to write that letter? That is why everybody has been now questioning, and the pushback. I was very surprised to see the amount of pushback on this. I think that letter is what really broke the camel's back, because now you have a very, very deep division, and you're seeing it in these dioceses. My old diocese, unfortunately, is very liberal. So I see them actually accepting the letter. The bishop here in Tyler rejects the letter. He is one of the foremost people who has actually been very vocal about rejecting this. And there are several, in California, New Mexico, several throughout the U.S. But it is forming a really deep rift in the Catholic Church. And I'm really afraid that I'm going to live long enough to see it break again. Now, you and I were discussing the Reformation. That was completely different, because the Reformation was talking about what was going wrong as far as the indulgences, how the church was getting rich, and all that stuff. It wasn't talking about how you were deviating from the Word of God so much as using the Word of God to get rich, so.
Yeah, I mean, basically they were telling people they could buy their own sanctity as opposed
Exactly.
to believe in
And
Jesus.
so
And that
Martin Luther
pretty
comes
much
up.
what set Luther off.
Yeah, he writes a letter. He nails it spends a couple of days in solitary or whatever. Gets he gets shafted and whatever. So,
he's probably one of the few people that expected the Inquisition.
Yeah, but because the Lutheran Church grew out of that, and you have the Catholics saying, "Oh, you know what? Maybe we should clean house," and the Catholics clean house, and then of course later on they get, there's going to be corruption every century. There really is. You cannot stop it, because these are human beings. They're not deities. But this particular schism, I don't think it can be healed. I really don't. I mean, we witnessed another church. I want to say it was the Episcopalian church that fractured in two because one of their bishops was gay and decided to get married in the church to his lover. So some Episcopalians could not bear the thought of that. That went against Episcopalian teachings. That went against the Bible. So they broke away from the church. So you have two different churches that call themselves Episcopalian, and that kind of thing. So it has happened before, but for it to happen in the Catholic Church, I think it's far graver than anything else. And you'll see, they had the opportunity to go do this in a mosque, but they didn't. And they had the opportunity to go to a synagogue, but they didn't. This is all part of the plan. And I really do think that the church is complicit in what happened. I just don't see any way that they couldn't have been.
Yeah, this is bothersome just for me as an outsider. So yeah, I can. Your upsetness is palpable.
I took a Valium before coming on the show. I didn't take a Valium. I did take an Advil though, because I knew that was going to make me very, very tense, and that was going to be problematic. So I'm kind of more chill than I was earlier.
Well, I want to
today.
see if I can if I can uplift you a little bit, because you know me, I'm always Mr. Happy. I'm always,
You are.
I would much rather light a candle than curse your darkness. So I want to bring to you, and this is actually close to your area, out of Houston. It's something, I don't know, a miracle might go a little too far with this one. I don't want to quite call it that, but happy news nonetheless. At the Houston Zoo, they gave a grasshopper a neck brace.
I'm sorry. They put a neck brace on an insect?
Yes. Yes, they did. As a matter of fact, the stick-like grasshopper known as the Peruvian jumping stick, which I think, frankly, is an adult toy sold in South America, maybe, but I could be wrong. Oh no, wait, this is actually an insect. Okay. This one particular Peruvian jumping stick recently shed its exoskeleton, as insects are wont to do. And in I guess in the course of this molting, they discovered that this particular insect had a weakened area around part of its body, around the thorax and neck area. And as it climbs up, its head would start tilting. It was unable to hold its neck up in a proper fashion. And so they literally fashioned a neck brace for their Peruvian walking stick. They basically used the shaft of a plastic Q-tip and some surgical tape, and they propped the neck in a fashion that would keep it upright for a while.
I posted a picture of what the Peruvian jumping stick looks like, and I'm just like, this is another episode where you are just messing with evolution. And personally speaking, if this were happening in the real world, out in the jungle or wherever this little creature is from, he'd be food. And so I would have just thrown it in to the fish tank or somewhere so that somebody would actually, the whole circle of life thing. But no, they want to put a little neck brace.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So the walking, it looks like it had a skiing accident, doesn't it? I'm going to be laid up for a while, guys. So go without me. I'm just going to sit here in the lodge and kick back with some toddies, and I'll be fine after a while.
Do you remember the old government issue pens that had that little clip, that silver clip, so that you can, clip it on your shirt pocket? That's what that looks like.
Yes. The pocket protector.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Oh my word.
You just know this walking stick, all his buddies were making fun of him for like weeks.
Poor thing. It's like, that's
the cone of shame for an insect.
Yes. The cone of shame. I'm just looking at it going, why though? Just, it's not endangered.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe I guess they're hard to come by or they're really expensive. It's like, if he dies, though, we're going to be out like $300 or whatever the hell. I got a Q-tip. It's going to be cheaper. All right, do it. Tape it up.
That's pretty much all. Get a little toothpick to put tape around it. You're done.
It's like, really? Is this thing that in need of that? Oh, okay, whatever.
But there's some. I just, like I said, if this were out in the real world, that thing would just not last. Some bird would be happy, and it would feed the little babies that are hatching right now, and it would be part of the circle of life. But no, you have to actually. Oh no, this is not Steve Austin or the $6 Million Man. I just don't understand.
They would start climbing up a tree and fall off a few times and then be in the maw of a lizard inside of about 2 minutes.
Right. Oh my gosh, yes, Danielle, they MacGyvered him.
There you go. Exactly.
That's perfect.
We can rebuild him. Stronger.
I needed that laugh. However, if I dream of these creatures tonight, I'm just blaming you straight out.
Okay. I'll take it.
But, no.
And as you know, since I cover the media like I do, I come across curious entries. I watch local news a lot just because it's crazy batshit things that'll come up all the time. Case in point. Dateline, Preston, Great Britain. There's a council investigation underway into claims that one of the local buildings in the area might be used in an unapproved fashion. Over on Fishergate Road, there's been an empty space where a department store chain closed in 2016. Currently, though, Preston City Council officials are looking into claims that the site is being used for something unapproved. There are rumors that they're using this to be a breeding farm for edible snails. Here's my question.
Okay.
And I've got a few, yes. Most of them involving snail husbandry. Is there really a market for this? And if there is, to the extent that you have to do this surreptitiously, like you're in a bar like 1 o'clock in the morning. It's like, listen, don't tell anybody, but you know that old department store that's been closed down for 6 years? Well, we got a snail farm going. Get the hell out of my bar.
I just can't.
But this is the kind of thing that this is where my head goes. Okay. I'm looking at this from the journalistic standpoint. This is a very incomplete report because they're saying that the city council is looking into claims right now.
Claims?
Can't this be pretty much figured out like in an hour?
I mean,
like if the council got notified of this, like, hey guys, there's people growing snails over there at the store. Really? How about this? Let's get in our car, drive over there, and find out if this is true. I mean, if it's to the extent that they can notify the local journalist, I mean, this was in the BBC. So, okay, word got out. Wheels are in motion. Things are happening here. It probably took long to write this article, post it, and get it printed online than it would be to walk over there and find out if there are snails over there in the men's department. But this is all like incomplete info.
and I mean, you expect something like, they were growing cannabis, they were dealing meth, something. You want it to be contraband. You want it to be illegal. A snail farm?
But this is the part that just aggravates the hell out of me. I want to fly over there and just get to the bottom of this already. A town hall spokesperson said planning permission had not been granted for a snail farm and an application had not been registered. This would be required to change the use of classification of the premises from retail to agriculture. And then we hear that officers are aware of the alleged unauthorized use and are investigating the matter, said a spokesperson.
Really? It would fall under agriculture and not under animal husbandry?
Well, I guess, animal agriculture, I guess. It's all
okay
under that license.
Look at me. I came from Texas A&M. I know the difference.
No, I'm just talking from
No, I know.
I'm not saying botanical and husbandry. I'm talking from a licensing perspective. This is a retail space and not agricultural farming. Paperwork, Aggie, not biological. But how long is it going to take you guys to figure this out? It's like knocked on the door. It's like, dude, boss, nobody answered. I can't get inside. I don't know. It's a big mystery. Nobody's answering. Well, we'll come back next month, I guess. It's just...
I mean, do they not have search warrants over there? I mean, I'm not familiar enough with that. I would think that they don't have it simply because they can just go in. They don't need search warrants the way we do here.
Well, plus, how would you like to be the cop? Like it's dispatched.
Yes. That's true.
Hey, Trevor, here's what we need you to do. Go out there and do some surveillance, please. All right? If you see anything going on out there, like anybody going in the building itself, all right? Hang
Oh,
on.
my Lord.
You want me to sit my arse in my car for 17 fucking hours and watch a building for fucking snails? Yes. But, drug bust? Is there going to be hookers involved? Nope, snails.
That is too funny.
And it's like, how is this an incomplete story? I just don't get that. It's like,
I don't get that either. I don't understand why.
if I was the reporter, it'd be like, okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go out for a sandwich. When I come back, let me know what you found out. And then I'll file my report. We're stymied, bloke. I mean, we ain't got nothing. It's going to take us months to figure this out. Fucking snails in a department store? How we get in there? Hey, we're buggled. I have no idea. What are we going to do? It's like, take a window in. Go look inside. Just, it's a damn department store. There's got to be some visual that you can do to look inside. Oh, there's a box. Probably got snails in it. Busted. Done. No, this is just like next season on CSI London. I want to see this on the next season of Luther.
I really hope that somebody spoofs this somewhere in some TV show, because it needs to be done.
Right, we'll go down the fucking alley. We're going to go in the roof. We're going to go drop down in there. We're going to come in. Lights. We got night vision goggles. We got these from America. Oh, this fucking Yanks got everything. Yellow toys. It's fucking brilliant, I tell you. And we're going to go fucking right in on the main floor. Bust the flashlights. We'll flip open the boxes. Fucking snails right there. Knew it. Busted. Rested. Promotion. That's me.
Remember, it's not a police force anymore. Force implies, brutality. It's the police service.
Let me tell you something. I didn't serve for 6 fucking years in Iraq just to go politely knock on doors and tap on shoulders, okay? I'm kicking in the fucking door and I'm going to bust the snails. That's what I'm going to do. I mean, if I got this job, if they gave me this, it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Really? Snails. I got to write a report on this. My report would be like 3 sentences. Walked in door, flipped lid off a box, found snails. Check. It's just done. It aggravates the living hell out of me that the BBC has an incomplete report about this dastardly crime possibly taking place in Preston, Great Britain.
I just can't. I'm still trying to figure this out. I mean, how do you not know? Whatever.
But
okay.
I got to say this. I might have your birthday present picked out.
Okay.
Because
I at first I was elated, and now I am full of dread.
I'll just say that you had the proper reaction, and I won't tell you which. Could be both.
Could be both.
So, I'm going to set the table correctly here. We all know that you have a very fond appreciation of the higher arts, correct?
I do. I tend to.
Yeah, we cover the art world frequently on this show. We like to broaden the cultural horizons of our audience at all moments, and it's in that exact vein that I think I've figured out what I need to do for you for your birthday this year. I'm going to get you a box of penises.
I'm really, 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 really trying really hard not to scream at you right now.
A British gallery has offered, quote, penis amnesty, unquote, as it searches for a statue's pilfered peckers. So says the CBC in Canada regarding a British art museum. Allow me to explain, because you know how fond I am of wrapping my hands around fine art.
Yes.
And grasping the significance of this, penetrating art form of sculpture that it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see. It's kind of difficult, but there's a British artist that operates a gallery that has a particular statue that I guess has come under undue attention over the years. It was made in 1973. And this is in Grimsby, England, by the way. The work of art is, I don't even know how to describe it. Basically, it's a statue of the mythological figures of Havelock and Grimm. Grimm being not quite an infant, but more like a toddler figure, but he's hoisting the toddler on his shoulders, and he and said toddler are both nude as he stands, I guess, erect. Here's the part that is explained and yet not in great detail. For reasons that they don't know, residents in the area have frequently been known to remove the penis from the statue. Just walk up and yank the tallywhacker off. Repeatedly. It's been replaced a few times, and the vandals continue to do so. And then they decided, well, okay, it was a public art statue. We're going to move it indoors to keep this from happening. Didn't keep it from happening. And for some reason, too, they've also taken off the arm at one point. The young child had its head removed, but they've recovered the head. For some reason, there's just a lot of anger towards this particular statue, and I can't figure out why. But in the process, the place has said, we'll offer up the penis amnesty, meaning if anybody has the penises, just return them to us. We're cool. We won't press charges, nothing. And then one day they come to the gallery, and there was a box that contained half a dozen penises in it.
I just can't.
And there was a note. There was a note in there as well, and it just said, I've just been following the story closely, and I picked these up after cleaning my grandfather's house. I think they are what you're looking for. And
oh my word!
6 gray phalluses, and they were, carefully packaged as well. I mean, they, they had them in straw and everything else. So I guess they wouldn't be broken. Here's the thing: of the 6 penises, none of them were from the statue. So they have half a dozen clay, and that's the thing. It's there were these penises were made from a different medium. You see.
Okay. And now the question is, what the hell was your grandfather doing?
Might want to return those. I don't know what's they're not ours, so you want them back maybe. And the gallery owner had, I guess, a very British way of addressing this. He's I think they should probably stop sending unsolicited box of penises to people. It's quite inhospitable.
Could be.
Okay, but bloke, you
jarring.
invited this on yourself when you announced that there'd be penis amnesty for the missing wanker on your statue. So I think you're going to be prone to receiving
You're gonna get
unsolicited penises.
penis lunch.
Ay,
Avalanche of penises. That's what's going to happen.
Yes.
You know it? I know it.
we have a glut of penises, if that's the proper term, like murder of crows, glut
No.
of penis.
No, it's a pecker. A pecker penis.
Yes.
Or is it a peck? It's a peck. I'm going to
Phallus Maximus.
hell. I'm going to hell. I just know it.
Well, I know what church I can bury you in.
Oh, nicely played.
All right. Well, on that high note,
Hmm.
assuming, probably should wrap, huh?
Yes, we should. So take a deep breath. Tell us where we can find you, Brad.
I am available on a regular basis on the front page of townhall.com with my media column there called Rift from the Headlines, as well as a regular feature on the front page of Red State, where I also have my twice weekly podcast called Liable Sources, where I go even further into the mayhem and swampland of our press entertainment complex in this country. These sons of bitches, they keep me busy, that's for sure. And you can hear more of me on this very network as well. Thursday night, I'm going to be here with Ordy Packard. He and I are going to guide you through all of the vital and important entertainment information out there on the culture shift. And then alternate Thursdays, same night, I'm here with Paul Young from ScreenRant.com, taking you through the dark side of Hollywood and bad films with disasters in the making. And then, of course, every Tuesday evening right here at 8.5 with the effervescent Aggie Rican. And if you need more of me than that, let's face it, you do. You're going to head over to Jitter. You're going to find me at Martini Shark. And how about yourself, Aggie? Where can people find more of your magnificence?
Well, you can find me right here, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Tuesday nights, doing the Cocktail Lounge with you. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Friday nights, doing He Said, She Said with our producer, Rick, as of late. Once a month, the crew gets together Wednesday, the last Wednesday of every month at 8 p.m. Eastern. And by the crew, I mean G, Andrew, Ordy, and Rick, and myself. We get together to discuss toxic masculinity. I am the bar babe. I bring the drinks. And then Jeff and I co-host our monthly book podcast, Spirited Books. And that's on the second Monday of every month, also at Aggie time of 8:30 p.m. Thanks a lot for joining us. We hope you have a lovely evening.
And go raise a glass and look at the ceiling.